हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम करेंगे इंटरप्रिटेशन अ गेम ऑफ चेस की, और ये पार्ट 4 है मेरे वीडियो का। और ये यूनिट जो है 46 है, MEG 1 है एंड ब्लॉक 9 है। लेट अस स्टार्ट विद द इंटरप्रिटेशन। लाइन 77 टू 96। इससे पिछले वाले वीडियो में ना, जो आई थिंक पार्ट 1 या पार्ट 2 है, इससे पहले वाले वीडियो में हमने इस 77 लाइन से पहले वाले इंटरप्रिटेशन किया है। The first 20 lines of this part of the wasteland recall the literary tradition of the Renaissance period in Europe, dealing with the subject of fatal romantic passion. The artificial language and diction, as well as the style of these lines, satirize the mode of expression of that tradition. Eliot's note refers to the famous passage in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, Act 2, Scene 2, where Enobarbus, a minor character, gives a description of the ceremonial boat of Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, and her first meeting with Mark Antony, the Roman commander. Here, Eliot's style is an ironic parody, mock imitation of what? Ironic parody means mock imitation of what Enobarbus says in Shakespeare's play. The description of the woman at the dressing table reminds one of Belinda at her toilet in The Rape of the Lock, a mock heroic poem by Alexander Pope, जो कि जिनका टाइम था 1688 to 1744. The panelled ceiling of the room invokes the banquet scene in the Latin epic, the Aeneid, Book 1 of Virgil, the Roman poet. The banquet was given by Dido, Queen of Carthage, an ancient state on the northern coastal area of Africa, in honor of youthful and handsome Aeneas, a Roman hero in exile. Later, when faithlessly deserted by Aeneas, her lover Dido destroyed herself by burning on a funeral pyre, while the Roman returned to his own land to continue his exploits. All these literary allusions are built into the text of Eliot's poem in this part of the wasteland. If one doesn't know these allusions, it is difficult for the reader or student to understand what the poet is trying to convey. Hence, we have made a special effort to explain such classical and other references for the benefit of our distance education students. ये बताया गया है इग्नू के द्वारा कि, तो इसमें क्या है ना कि ये इंस्ट्रक्शंस दी गई हैं इग्नो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए कि ये बताया गया है कि कैसे उन्होंने जो टीचर्स हैं या जो भी बुक्स को बनाने वाले हैं, उन्होंने क्लासिकल एंड अदर रेफरेंसेस लिए हैं और बताया है कि ये क्लासिकल एल्यूजन्स जो है एलियट ने कहाँ कहाँ से लिए गए हैं। तो ये बहुत अच्छी बुक्स हैं, इनमें पूरा डिस्क्रिप्शन, पूरा डिस्क्राइब किया हुआ है अच्छे से। वेरी नाइस बुक्स। Now lines 97 to 110. Eliot's note refers to the scene encountered by Satan in Milton's Paradise Lost, when the fallen angel in his journey across planets reaches the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve, the first human beings created by God, lived their life together in absolute bliss and peace. Next, Eliot recalls a tragic event in the Latin poem Metamorphosis by Ovid, another Roman poet, who touchingly describes the rape of young Philomela by King Darius of Thrace in ancient Italy, the husband of her sister Procne, Procne. Later, she was metamorphosed, physically transformed into a singing nightingale by the gods, who took pity on her sad condition. The peculiar expression jug jug is both the bird song as well as a rude joking reference to the act of sexual union, the purity of the one being contrasted by Eliot with the vulgarity of the other interpretation. Through Philomel, the poet projects the eternal image of woman as victim in a male dominated world. But as the scene unfolds, the society lady at the dressing table is revealed to be exploited seductress, exploiting seductress rather than an innocent victim. The sound of the footstep on the stairs are of her approaching lover who now joins her. The one-sided conversation that follows exposes the shallow values and priorities of such man and woman caught up in the social whirlpool जो होता है ना भंवर of modern times. Now lines 111 to 126. The woman of this satiric episode is in a nervous mood and would like to be entertained through a bit of light-hearted and frivolous conversation. But her man is not drawn into the amusing dialogue since he is in a pensive, thoughtful mood. He is thinking of the fragility of life. कितनी मतलब लाइफ कितनी टूटने वाली है, फ्रेजाइल चीज़ें होती हैं जो टूट जाती हैं. He is thinking of fragility of life in the slum and what follows her after death. Nothing again nothing is an echo of several literary sources. जैसे कि number 1 Webster's The White Devil. B is Lear's warning to Cordelia in Shakespeare's King Lear. Nothing will come of nothing इसमें बोला गया है. फिर Ophelia's answers to Hamlet's query. I think वो बोलती है कि I think nothing my lord. Hamlet मतलब वो बोलती है I think nothing my lord. ये ऐसी wording ऐसे उसने बोला है. Now, the man in Eliot's scene is still thinking of death, as is indicated by the repetition of a line from The Tempest of the Shakespeare. His continued silence draws an ironic remark from the woman. तो उसमें बोला गया Are you alive or not? Is there nothing in your head? Is there nothing in your head? क्वेश्चन मार्क पूछा गया है. अभी लाइन 127 टू 138 इन लाइंस को ना इन पोम जो वेस्टलैंड है लाइन बाय लाइन एक्सप्लेनेशन मैं करूँगी एक बार ये ख़त्म हो जाए. 127 टू 138. लेकिन क्रक्स में हमें पता होना चाहिए कि जब हम लाइंस को पढ़ेंगे तो हमें पता होना चाहिए कि उसमें लिखा क्या है, उसका क्रक्स क्या है. ठीक है. द पोइट्स एल्यूजन 127 टू 138 लाइन्स हम पढ़ रहे हैं. The poet's allusion is to a popular American song of 1912 when Eliot was 24 years old. इसमें बोला गया The Shakespearean Rag. ये song है The Shakespearean Rag, most intelligent, very elegant. That old classical rag has the proper stuff. The line lay on Macduff. The last phrase जो है ना lay on Macduff comes from Macbeth, one of the 4 major tragedies of Shakespeare, in which he explores the psychology of an exalted man and his wife who are driven to murder and consequently their own destruction through overriding ambition. The last utterance of Hamlet in Shakespeare's celebrated play is the repetition of it here mocks the woman's taunt to her lover. ये repetition है ओ करके ऐसा लिखा है इसमें है ना. Her abnormally nervous speech and indecisive behavior recall Queen Dido's despair at Carthage when Aeneas, Aeneas, finally deserted her. In a similar fashion, sleep had disappeared from the woman's lidless eyes as she waited for the arrival of her lover on the appointed time. Eliot's artistic juxtaposition of the sublime means Dido's tragic story with the ridiculous, the lowly placed London woman's plight. तो फिर से पढ़ती हूँ. Eliot's artistic juxtaposition of the sublime with the ridiculous highlights the revaluation devaluation of human value in the early 20th century. अब हम आगे हैं जी 139 से लेके 172 लाइन में. ठीक है. दिस comparatively long passage is the second scene in a game of chess. The critics often pick this episode to illustrate the American जो है ना वो Eliot's ignorance of the contemporary life and speech of the working class man and woman in London. He once frankly admitted that this episode involving a sexual encounter between Lil and Albert, Lil lady है, Albert उसका lover है, owes its origin to a story told to him by his housemate. Incidentally, everyone in India knows how talkative and informative on the neighborhood scandals a housemate could be. वही है जो हाउसमेट्स होती हैं वो काफ़ी नेबरहुड की चीज़ें बता देती हैं. The language and diction in this scene are deliberately stylized as in a musical comedy. Eliot contrasts a meaningless and sterile sexual encounter between a low middle class woman and her man with the unchecked fertility of a woman in a pub. Okay. Now, both relationships, as cleverly presented in the two episodes, are a negation of the number of children that are likely to be born out of the union of a love marriage. The poet is here mainly involved with the basic problems of sexual morality. He is not concerned with the distinctions of class in society. Now, now in order to understand the second scene in the second part of the wasteland, we have to imagine a situation in a public bar of the post-war London, where the two women are having an intimate conversation about their immediate status and family circumstances. Lily is worried about the return after war of Albert, her soldier husband, while her unnamed friend wants her to take better care of herself before she welcomes back the man of the house. The experienced friend goes to the extent of advising Lil in order a new set of teeth, denture जिसको बोलते हैं, so as to look more attractive to her husband, which has already paid her to fix the dentures. The soldiers all over the world, when they return home from war, look forward to having a good time with their wives or girlfriends, and that include plenty of sex. If the women do not provide that kind of relaxing entertainment, the men will naturally look for it somewhere else. As Lil looks accusingly at her wise and experienced friend, the latter, जो उसकी friend है, advises her to take good care of Albert for her own sake. After all, why should Lil look old at just 31? Perhaps it is due to the pills she took to bring off an abortion, having already aborted 5 times. She knows the pills have had a bad effect on her in spite of the assurances of the chemist from whom she bought the medicine. वो केमिस्ट तो बोलते थे ना कि कुछ नहीं होगा, लेकिन वो 31 की एज में बूढ़ी लगने लगी है. The friend is at a loss to understand why Lil married if she did not want children. When Albert finally returned home on a Sunday, Lil invites her friend to dinner to celebrate on the occasion, and she serves special dishes made out of pig's meat. No? As the pub closes for the day, the women bid farewell to each other, all others present wishing a good night to everybody else. There is a touch of sadness of parting that colors the farewell at the pub. Thank you so much. Please सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एंड शेयर माई वीडियोज़. आज हमने ये फिनिश कर लिया. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट नाउ टी एस एलियट का वेस्टलैंड का थर्ड पार्ट, जो कि यूनिट 47 है. थैंक यू सो मच.